Hello, everyone. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
And today we're going to talk about the Indiana Fever and whether or not they're the worst sports franchise in the country. Welcome to Mark and Rob's Sports Showdown, one of the hottest and best sports talk shows in the country. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that notification bell when you do. Rob, Caitlin Clark plays for the Indiana Fever, and she was the number one draft pick. And they had the number one draft pick for a reason, apparently, because they are a terrible franchise. It's a question of whether or not they're the worst sports franchise. And I'm going to go over some numbers for you, and then you can tell me what you think. So,
okay.
The last time they won the championship was 2012. So there's only 12 teams, so theoretically you would win it every 12 years. So they're kind of due. The last time they made the playoffs was 2016. Now, keep in mind, 8 out of 12 teams make the playoffs, so you should make the team 2/3 of the time. They haven't made it now 7 straight seasons. In those 7 seasons, they came in 11th or 12th 5 times. Then the other times they came in 9th and 10th. Their winning percentage during that time period is 0.23%, 23%. Okay, and they haven't made the playoffs since 2016. Rob, what do you think? What do you think of these awesome numbers?
If not the worst franchise, definitely the most worst organized franchise. I mean, you're getting first round draft choices, and you would think that even to make the playoffs, you would think the last time they made the playoffs was 2016. So you would think that, I'm not a math major, that's kind of almost over 8 years that you haven't made the playoffs.
Well, Rob, can you think of an organization that's worse than that, that's less successful at least in the United States?
Well, I'm not going to mention a franchise, the New York Knicks, who have not won a championship.
But their winning percentage,
at least in the playoffs, though.
I bet you the winning percentage is higher than 20%.
I'm pretty sure that is.
I didn't go do the research on every team in the five leagues that we'll be talking about, the 4 men's leagues and the women's WNBA. But I don't think anyone's down at 23%. And I follow sports pretty closely, but I could be wrong.
I think you're on.
Be that as it may, it's still terrible. And it's close enough to being the worst that we're going to talk about. So, Rob, the question is like, what do you do about it? The owner's name is Herb Simon, and he also owns the Indiana Pacers, who actually had a pretty good year this year. As you know, they made the Eastern Conference Finals, although they had never won a championship since they were in the ABA, right? So he hasn't owned it the whole time. But he owns both. Some people think it's like a tax write-off for him. And I find that hard to believe that you own a team and you don't really put some effort into it. That's me. But maybe I'm wrong, because look at how poorly they're doing. So, Rob, I picked up I looked up some salaries. And the only salaries that end right now are in 2024 are Kelsey Mitchell and Eric Wheeler. And their contracts are really high. Right. Mitchell makes $206,000, and Eric Wheeler, shockingly, because even before Caitlin Clark came around, she was one of the weaker point guards in the league, makes $222,000, and that's probably because she's been in the league for like 10 years. So, Rob, what would you do? Those are the 2 players who are not playing team ball. Of all the players on the team, I think those are the 2. Would you get rid of them at the end of the year, 2024?
I probably would, Mark. Mitchell doesn't pass the ball. She's a good shooter, a good ball player, plays hard, but this is team basketball. So doesn't seem like she wants to do that. So she'd be a nice little value to trade for somebody who wants to do that. Wheeler is done. She's not that good. She holds onto the ball too much. She did score a lot last game, but it's not cleaning house, but it's just time to put in some new players, fresh faces there.
She scored, but I don't think she played a great game. She just hit some shots that she doesn't normally hit.
Yeah.
Rob, the way I look at it is, you don't need Wheeler, because Caitlin Clark, you want to play her at least 35 minutes a game, or about 35 minutes a game. So you don't need much of a backup point guard. This is not like the NBA where they play 48 minutes. They only play 40 minutes, so the backups aren't as important. And you have Grace Berger, who was a 7th pick in a draft. You can bring her along and make her your backup point guard for next year. Of course, they haven't given her any minutes to do that this year, but that's because the coach is clueless and she keeps playing Wallace and things like that. So it's an easy solution. And Grace Berger is only making $74,000. So that seems to me an easy solution. So if it was me, I would let those 2 of them go. and or trade Mitchell if you want to do that. You could trade Mitchell over the Olympic break and see if you can get some value for it, because her contract runs out in 2024. You may just lose her completely, and that's a lot of scoring you're going to lose. So I would try to trade her. I don't think you're going to get value for her, but I would try to trade her over the Olympic break. Go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
Well, the main thing that the owner has to do. We already know what the main thing she has.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Let's talk about let's talk about the players.
That's what I was saying. We already know the main reason, but the players, yeah. Right. I mean, I would definitely do that. I mean, with Mitchell, yeah, it can't hurt. I mean, it's just time to to clean house and get people who want to play basketball. Who want to be a team player. Clark, Clark is, just put it like this. People want to say Boston's the main person. She's already reserved herself to say, okay, Caitlin Clark has the keys to the car. Let's jump in the car and let's follow her. Okay, and let's just keep it going. Let's follow her.
Right. Well, and Boston's contract doesn't come up to 2026. So if I had the franchise and I was running this properly, we're going to get to the coach and the general manager in a minute. But first, let's talk about the players. The first thing I would do is waive Victoria Saxon and re-sign Celeste Taylor. That's the first thing. If someone just said, Mark, you're the general manager now, or you're the owner, whatever, that's the first thing I would do. Go ahead, Rob. You want to say something?
I just checked out this morning that I found out she might be going to the Sky. The Sky might pick her up. I just kind of saw something about that.
I understand that. I'm just saying, so far she's not signed. So I would do it immediately. Like I would have done it. I would never waived. Actually, no one would have waived her except for this organization. Yeah. Everybody else who had a brain would have been playing her some minutes from day one. And they would have tried to develop her and see if she was good enough to be a starter. Even if she wasn't good enough to be a starter, she'd be great off the bench when you have a guard that's a big offensive threat or a guard that's hot. And your starting guard, whoever that is not as good a defender as Celeste Taylor. And you stick them in.
Which they could have put on
the game. Go ahead.
They could have put on Carter, because Carter was abusing Mitchell.
Lloyd the other day?
No, but I'm talking about the other game.
In the Chicago game. Yeah, in the Chicago game, Carter was better than Mitchell and getting the better of her. Yeah, Carter. In that game, I think she was 8 for 10 in the first half.
Yeah, it was like.
But last game, Lloyd was abusing Wallace and Mitchell. So that'll be perfect. So Celeste Taylor, maybe you don't start her, but you just stick her in as soon as a good guard, a good scoring guard starts to get hot, and you guys say, okay, well, I gotta put an end to this.
And that's what drives me nuts, Mark. So the other teams are doing that to Clark, like the Storm coach.
That makes too much sense. Why would they?
Yeah, the other teams do it to Clark. Why aren't you doing it to the other team's best players? I don't get it. I really don't get it.
We know why the coaches.
We're going to go into that later.
All right. So we'll talk about what we would do as players, and then we would do if I was the general manager. Of course, I would fire this general manager, but if I was the general manager, let's say I replaced the general manager. That's the first move I would do, and what I would have done from the beginning of the year if I was coach, I would have developed Berger and Celeste Taylor, and I would have not played. I played Wallace very little. So I could develop, and I would have given Hall more playing time because she's a better defender than Wallace. Definitely. I don't think she's a great defender, but I doubt she's as good as Celeste Taylor. Go ahead, Rob. Sorry, you were trying to say.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I'm like, yeah, that's great. I mean, that's great. I mean, that's what you should do. You're right.
Right. So, and Victoria Saxon is an easy wave because she hasn't played all year. She's played 2 minutes a game, and obviously she's not good enough to get playing time. So what good does – I don't even know why you need her when you just activated Dantas and Fegbenley just came back from an injury. Why do you need Saxon on the team? This is so easy. She makes $64,000. Well, Celeste Taylor only made $74,000. So the $10,000 can't be the difference, really.
Mark, one person in comments mentioned that her and Boston were best friends. And that could be the reason why, which is a silly reason. That's too bad. I mean,
yeah, that's too bad. I heard Taylor was friends with Caitlin Clark, and that didn't keep her on the team. And I would think Caitlin Clark is the most important player in your franchise, and Boston's obviously the second most important. So it shouldn't make any difference.
Yeah, I'm here to win. It's not about friendship. It's about winning games. I'm sorry.
Right. First of all, I would have drafted Kate Martin instead of Celeste Taylor. But I don't think it's not necessarily a bad draft pick if Taylor turns out to be a great player or a great role player, like the 6th or 7th person off the bench. But they didn't even do that. They drafted the wrong person. And then even though it's not such a bad pick because how good her defense is, they didn't use her. So
it's like I said, it's mind
crap
boggling.
show.
You drafted her, but you didn't even give her a chance. You didn't give her any kind of chance to prove what she could do. I mean, it's just like it's like in a job. Like if you get hired and then the person fight. Well, let me see if I can do this job first. Didn't even give her a chance.
Rob. So, anyways, I don't think Christy Wallace's contract doesn't run out till next year, but she's only making $66,000. But either way, either I would waive her or I would just not play her much. That's me. And Melissa Smith, I would tell her she's going to get less playing time unless she picks up on her defense. Because I got someone named Temi Figbenley who wants to play defense and is a good fit.
And for me, with the current player, Boston, I would tell Boston, can you work on your inside game, make layups? You're killing us. I would be straight up.
That's
make
the whole
layups.
league, and it's not just Indiana Fever.
I mean, 2 feet away.
I understand. Last game she missed too many bunnies. I agree, but she was playing well before that, Rob. She had played well for a number of games, 5 games, 6 games in a row. She had played really well.
Yeah, that was brutal.
And last year she led the league in field goal percentage at 58%.
Yeah.
So
I think it's
they all missed that.
I think it's down this year.
All right. So all the other players you could either waive or keep, but those are the only players whose contract run out this year are Mitchell and Wheeler. And you can look it up. You can just type in Indiana Fever salaries, and you'll get the whole chart on everybody, except for Taylor because she got waived. I looked that one up. She was making $74,000. All right, Rob. So the next move you would make if you were the owner. Let's say you're the owner. What's the next move you would make?
Gee, Mark. Let me think. We fire the coach. Bye. See ya.
I would fire the coach and the general manager, Rob.
Yeah, but
the general managers made the decision to waive Celeste Taylor and keep Saxton. That right there is enough. And the general manager is also, I don't know if the general manager's done anything regarding how incompetent the coach has been.
Right, but my first thing, I'm going to do her later, but I'm going to get rid of this coach now.
Yeah.
At the end of the year, general manager, you're gone also. Yes. I need to get rid of the coach.
No time. You would fire him today, or you wait till the Olympic break?
Probably Olympic break, because there's enough time for practice and things like that. But and the team to get adjusted to a new coach, a new system, because it's like preseason. So bye, see ya. We've
already gone over all the ways that she's been incompetent, and everybody knows them. But obviously, she's not using Clark properly, and she has the team. It's last in defense, and she's had most of these players for 2 years or a year and a half. So she obviously not good at teaching defense. Some of it's on the player. Obviously, go ahead, Rob. You want to say something about the defense?
Yeah, obviously.
Rob's a defensive specialist, so I want to make sure if he wants to jump in about that, he could. But also, her substitutions is awful. She's overplaying players that she shouldn't be playing and underplaying other players that we've gone over. She doesn't know how to teach screens and stuff like that. She doesn't know how. She keeps running the same play over and over again. She doesn't know when to call timeouts.
And Mark, what's the main reason, Mark? What is the main reason why she definitely should be fired?
Well, 2 things. She throws her players underneath the bus, and I think she's lost the locker room. Besides, I already mentioned she handles Clark very poorly. But what main reason? I
think that's the main reason. I mean, the way she is not using her. The future superstar of the league. She has no clue on how to use her on offense and doesn't help her on defense. But the main thing is the offense. No really set screens. No, the pick and rolls, they're getting better, but still no. You got this, like we had a video before. You got this thoroughbred in front of you, and you don't even know how to use her.
Right. Another thing I would do if I was the general manager or the owner is over the Olympic break, and Rob pointed this out before, he's a defensive specialist. Caitlin Clark doesn't bend her knees on defense and doesn't slide and move her feet enough. So I would hire Drew Holiday over the Olympic break if he's willing to do it, and have him come in for a day, a week, a year, whatever it takes to get her to fix her posture so she's a better on-ball defender, because she has enough athletic ability and speed, quickness, and height to be a very, very good defender on ball. She may not be the defensive player of the year or anything like that, but there's no reason she can't be a very good on-ball defender. She's actually a good defender off the ball. She's actually a good team defender and very good at defensive rebounding. So she just needs to work on that one type of weakness, which is, pretty big. That's the most
Mark,
important.
just hire me. Forget him.
Or Rob.
I
Rob's
need the money.
available.
He's got money. Hire me. I'll go in for a week or two. You can pay me whatever. I mean, you're my agent.
Okay, if I was the owner, I would hire Rob.
Yeah,
Let me know down in the comments below if you would hire Rob to teach her over the Olympic break to help Caitlin Clark with her on-ball defense. Because obviously her coach is not any good at teaching on-ball defense, because Mitchell and Wheeler, who are excellent athletes, if you look at their speed and quickness and agility, and they don't play very good on-ball defense. Some of the other players in the team aren't as athletic as those two. So there's no excuse for those two. Go ahead, Rob.
It's so easy. I mean, not just her, just the whole team. Because Mitchell is quick and athletic, just like they pick up, this is what the other teams do to Clark. Pick up the player right after they get the ball. Mitchell's quick enough. She doesn't have to steal it, but just pressuring the ball, taking some time off the clock, and disrupting the offense right there. She doesn't have to steal the ball. So that's what I would do first. That's the first thing I would do. I'd have Mitchell pick up the player from just like they do Clark. It's not that hard.
I'm not a defensive specialist like Rob, but I can see that Mitchell and Wheeler are too far off their women.
Yes.
So they're playing defense from 5 feet away, and I don't understand that. When people play against Caitlin Clark, they're in her face for 94 feet.
And their hands are down. They get you're supposed to play defense palms up, but also you're supposed to at least put a hand up in the person's face. And so, I mean, they don't even do that.
Right. Well, I don't do anything. So anyways, those are the things that I think, they're big gaps right now. And I don't know if they're the worst franchise in America, but they sure seem like it.
Well, the only thing that's saving them, I think the only thing that's saving them from right now is Caitlin Clark. Otherwise, we did the attendance, they were last in attendance last year, I believe. I think they were averaging like 3,000.
Well, that's not a big surprise. When a team doesn't win, you get people in the seats.
In the seats, yeah. They're averaging 3,000, over about 3,000, 4,000 a game, home game.
I mean,
now they're up to like, 16? I mean, they sell out every game.
The last I looked, they were up 13,000 in fans. They went from like 3,500 to 16,500.
Right. So
they've been sold out almost every game, I think.
No, you do the math. I mean, we're tired of doing math. You do the math.
I don't know what to say, Rob, but it seems like the general manager's incompetent, the owner's incompetent, and the coach is incompetent. That's not a good combination.
No.
The last I checked.
And it's not. And like I said, they're blowing it because with Caitlin Clark's getting frustrated. And as a fan, we're not supposed to see that. But as a fan, you can see what's happening. And they're even suggesting maybe they're saying, well, she should leave the franchise. And if she did that, it's over. It's over for.
I think you have to look at it from the fans' perspective, Rob. That's what you're in business. You're in a business. You said you're not supposed to say no. I said no. It's just fine to look at it from the fans' perspective. I mean, the fans just want you to win and not play ugly basketball. That's all they want. They're not asking a lot.
And your job as the owner and general manager is to put out a good product so people will come and see you. If you're not putting out a good product, people are not going to buy that. You know that. So. And
Coach Sides has never, ever beaten a team that has a record above 500 in her 1.5 seasons. Never, ever. So the wins are an illusion. They're beating bad teams. And when that winning streak was going on, we all saw it. We all said, well, when they play better teams, let's see what happens. Well, they've lost 2 games in a row now, and they have 3 more games away against good teams. And I'm not real confident.
No, I'm not either.
I can see a 5-game losing streak.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let us know what you think. Are they the worst sports franchise in the country? Because the world is too hard to measure. Are they the worst franchise in the league? Apparently, yes. But who knows? I mean, for over the last 8 years, they have been. So that answer is good. And is the owner involved enough? I don't know. I'm not, in his office. I don't know how involved he is. I mean,
he turned around the Pacers. Got a nice product with a couple of good guards, and and he traded for some players. Pascal Siakam helped them this year from Toronto. So why not do that with your women's team?
Right. I mean, they've improved. So I don't know, Rob. I'm at a loss for words.
Oh, what? Oh, come on, Mark. I'm old. You can't do that to me.
Rob just got a heart attack because I said I was a loss for words. What can I say?
Dear diary.
All right, Rob.
Right.
Trying to keep the white man down. I see it.
You're trying to kill me.
Trying to give Rob a heart attack. All right. What can I say?
You guys.
Anyways, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit that notification bell when you do. We have a live show every Monday, except major holidays, Eastern time from 7 to 8. And also, if you like this video, please hit the like button and feel free to make intelligent, non-insulting comments, and I'll try to get to them. Right now, I'm so backed up. I'm trying to make you good videos. The comments are so many. It's hard for me to respond to all of them.
But the comments we read so far are seeing that they're great. I mean, keep it going. We really appreciate that.
And we appreciate your support, and we're growing fast, and it's because of you. All right. That's it for today. We'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.